While exploring Google Earth, I stumbled upon something that didn't make any sense. It appeared to be a large man-made structure, sitting alone in the middle of nowhere, perched high up in an isolated valley with no roads or trails leading to it. And when I searched online, there was absolutely no information about it, and that got me curious. Why would someone build something so big in such a remote area? So I decided to find out for myself, and set off on a hiking adventure to try reach this structure in person and explore it for answers. But this adventure turned out to be a brutal one. There is a reason why no one has documented this structure before, and I was about to find out the hard way. Hello everyone, and welcome to a brand new adventure. I am here at the base of the mountain, and this massive mountain behind me is what we have to be climbing up today to reach that structure I found on Google Earth. So let me quickly run you through the plan for today's adventure. I'll start my hike here, where I'll have to climb up the first of 3 mountains that guard the entrance to this remote valley. And after summiting all 3 mountains, I'll then descend into the valley. But this is where the real challenge begins. With no more trail to follow, I'll have to navigate my own way up the other side of the valley. But our first objective today is to climb to the top of this mountain. I don't know if the lens does it justice, but this is a big mountain. It's gonna be a steep start to the hike, but the weather's on our side and the trail looks gorgeous, so I can't think of anything better to be doing today. Summiting this mountain was going to be one of the toughest parts of this adventure. But before I could even begin my climb, something unusual caught my eye just off the trail. We've got a weird old concrete box just beside the trail. Very odd. We are not near any towns or villages now. Let's see what's inside. So I reckon this is either a dried up well that has since collapsed, or more interestingly, perhaps an old ROC bunker that has also since collapsed. I'll show you the B-roll of what one intact looks like. These are basically bunkers created all around the UK, and particularly a lot of them were actually in the countryside. And they were used during the Cold War for nuclear weapons monitoring. But it could actually be that as well. But I think more likely and less excitingly, it's gonna be a well. But this mountain has seen far more history than just dried up wells. For over 2,500 years, it's been a bloody battlefield, first ruled by powerful Celtic tribes in 500 BC. The slopes of this mountain were then turned into a war zone when the Romans invaded in 61 AD. For centuries after, armies used this mountain as a natural fortress, hiding in its rugged terrain to launch guerrilla attacks, even during Wales' fight for independence against the English. So as I climbed higher, I kept my eyes sharp for any remnants of this past. So you might be wondering why I'm lying behind a rock, and that's a fair question to have. It's a bit random. It's basically because I'm about halfway up the mountain now, and the weather is turning wild. If I flew a kite today, it would end up in Beijing. Wind is really blowing in heavy, and it is getting steeper and steeper. It is a beautiful hike, but it is getting pretty tough. But things were only gonna get tougher, and as I neared the summit of the mountain, I was faced with the hardest section of the climb. At this point, it is just a rock scramble up. It's very steep, and the rain is coming in now, and the wind is really blowing. This is an epic, super fun, but really tough summit. This is not a trail that many people do because it's barely a trail. I have to really stay focused, watch out my footing. This is not a place I want to be slipping. But finally, after a lot of effort and being beaten back and forth by the wind, I reached the summit of my first mountain. So of course, I had to take a moment to enjoy the relaxing ambience at the top. It's just a little bit windy. I don't know if you noticed. I haven't been able to do many updates because this wind has been smacking my face about. It has been a crazy and wild summit push. And as you can see, it is now opening up into this rugged, remote mountain range we're gonna be delving into. Somewhere in there, amidst all those remote and isolated mountains, is a structure. Someone managed to bring all that stuff through all this terrain and build something out here. We're gonna go find out why and what it could be. But before I could reach the structure I had found on Google Earth, I would need to first summit 2 more mountains and trek through a wild part of Wales that very few hikers ever visit. I had no idea what I might find along the way, but one thing I did know for sure was that I was in a truly stunning and dramatic landscape. Heading up Mountain 2 just here. Summit 2, here we come. Woo! Summit 2! What a view! We got one more mountain to conquer, and then we're gonna be into that remote valley where the structure should be. But what I didn't realize was that waiting for me on the rocky summit of this final mountain was an incredible relic from the past, hidden in plain sight. So I've just been coming around the edge of this final mountain, and look at this. This is definitely a structure built out of the rock. If you weren't looking carefully, you would just walk right by this. It blends in perfectly. But this is definitely a man-made structure. No doubt. Look at this, a full circle. Here you can see it really clearly. They've used the rocks from the mountain and stacked them up. This is so cool. The possibilities as to what this structure could have once been and when it was built are endless. But I do have two primary theories. The first takes us back nearly 2,000 years ago to when the Romans invaded this area. The Celts, who rebelled fiercely, used this very mountain as a natural fortress, launching ambushes from its steep slopes. This could be a remnant of their defenses. Or perhaps it's from a later rebellion, when the Welsh rose up against the English in the 13th and 15th century, using the exact same tactic in the exact same place. So most likely this structure is between 500 to 2,000 years old, and gives us a great glimpse into the bloody military past this mountain holds. So with this final mountain now, gonna head down into this isolated valley, and there's where our structure is. But as I began to make my way down into the valley, I suddenly spotted something quite shocking. I can see a ton of structures. It almost looks like maybe an abandoned village or something. So the plan now is to get closer and start exploring these ruins and just see if we can get clues as to what this place was and why it was so far out here. And as I made my way down to them, I was about to stumble across a big clue. I think I've just found something epic beside the trail. Look at this. This here is most likely an entrance to a mine. There's also some tadpoles. See here in the water. Wow, look at that. Looks like frogs like old mines as well. Whoa. It is super deep. Unfortunately, there's no way I can go in there unless I want to swim. And surprisingly, I don't really feel like having a swim in an abandoned mine. Hopefully we can find another entrance like this that isn't as flooded and we can go inside. Wow, I can see the structures here. There is tons of them. After a long descent that has definitely left my knees a little bit shaky, I've come down to the bowl of the valley, and in here I can just see tons of ruins scattered around. I mean tons. And what's crazy is that we're still nowhere near the structure I had found on Google Earth. It's over an hour's hike away on the far side of the valley. But while these ruins are not connected by location, they may well be connected by purpose. And my hope was that by exploring these ruins, I could get some clues as to what the main structure up ahead could be. I think there's just so much evidence here to suggest that these structures are related to mining. My guess, I am in the remnants of an old mining village, because you got old mine entrances and just tons of crumbled rock around. And why else would you build something so far out here? Looks like here you got the remnants of maybe a road, or maybe something to pull up ore and stone from further down. And as I walked deeper into the complex of ruins, I soon found the answer as to what this place was. So I think this answers what this was. This was definitely a conveyor belt. This here would have housed a huge pulley system, large metal cables all the way, running down all the way down the mountain. They would have used it to pull up stone and supplies up here. So this was a major mining operation at one time. Wow, look at this. Now we're really coming into the buildings. These are all ruins of buildings, just lines of them. Wow. It's amazing how intricately made these houses were. Just piling slate on slate, and it has survived harsh winds and snow for hundreds of years. It is incredible. This one looks so well maintained. You can see the windows and the doorways so clearly. Look at this. It's hard to tell what exactly these were, but they do look like houses. Maybe this is where the workers and their families actually lived. Wow. Still got the doorways. Look at this. This is amazing. And the windows as well. Look at that view. Oh my goodness. Oh wow. It actually looks like in here the ceiling has collapsed. These are obviously the old beams. This slate would have lied on top. It's collapsed. But I feel like as I explore through this ruin, it's the perfect time to tell you about today's sponsor, Nibble. Nibble is an incredible app that gives you bite-sized lessons about a ton of different topics, and I've been using it to learn more about history. You can choose to do 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It does these really interactive quizzes and games. It's a really great way of learning about stuff that is maybe a bit more difficult. For me, it's like dates and names I'm terrible at. But with this app, I've been able to learn them a lot better. And I've also learned some really cool facts, like Marco Polo actually saw rhinos at and thought that they were unicorns, big fat unicorns. As you can probably tell in recent videos, I've been able to talk a bit more about the places I'm exploring, and that is thanks to using Nibble. Every day it gives me daily quizzes that are really fun to do and just helps me learn so much easier. And it just really has made my adventures that much more exciting because I can understand a bit more of the places I'm exploring. So thank you so much, Nibble, for sponsoring the video, but also thank you for helping me learn a bit more about history and just making places like this come more alive as I can learn more about the past stories of them. If you are interested in taking your knowledge to the next level in fun, bite-sized lessons, then check out the Nibble app. You can go to the link in my description or in the pinned comments and download it for yourself. And who knows, the next time you stumble across some ruins on your hike, thanks to Nibble, you might know the backstory of it. So, without further ado, let's continue on the adventure. So crazily, these are not even the structures I found on Google Earth. The structure I'm looking for is further up the valley, but it must be connected to this stuff. It does also make me wonder though, why would they build something separate from the main mining operation? There is a chance it's not related at all, but I think that's pretty low. Whoa, look at this. Oh my goodness. There is just rows and rows and rows of ruins. Oh my word. This place was enormous. It is really like a ghost town. Oh, they're in such great condition too. Look at this place. This is insane. Let's head in this ruin. Look at that. The support beams are still holding, but that one at the back has seen better days. If these are houses, they were very small. I don't know what else they could be. Maybe storage rooms? Ah, oh, so much here to explore. Look at this. Just a huge row of buildings. So much of it has just been totally destroyed. There's not much remaining inside them. This place has really been battered by the elements. It's destroyed a lot of the structural foundation. But with some later research, I was able to find out the exact history of this place. It is the remnants of a large slate mine that began operations in 1871. North Wales at the time was the largest provider of slate in the world, but conditions for the workers were terrible. They would have to work 12-hour shifts with hand tools and explosives, making injuries very common. And due to a deadly lung disease caused by inhaling slate dust, many miners didn't make it past their 40s. This particular mine was abandoned in the early 1900s. Alright guys, I have just finished exploring around this place. We have not even reached the structure yet, and this is when things are gonna get really hard. I'm almost out of water, I'm completely out of food, and there's no more trail to follow. But this structure is on up, and the fact that there's no trail to follow makes me so curious. Why wouldn't you connect it to this? It's only about another hour away in the same valley, and yet they didn't connect it with a road or path or anything. Very curious to check it out, but this is gonna be tough. It's now time for the off-trail segment. Let's do it. Oh, it's marshy. Whoa, almost fell. This terrain is really tough and I am really tired. It's just marshy and boggy. Wow, this is tough. Oh, this is a river. Oh, this is definitely the hardest bit of the hike, but at least I got an incredible view beside me. Still can't see the structure. I think it's just beyond this lip. Once we pass it, we should be able to see it. Oh, darn it. I still can't see the structure. Oh my goodness. This is further than I thought it would be. It's gotta be somewhere here, but I can't see anything. I'm almost exactly where I thought the structure was, where I've marked it on my map, but I cannot see anything at all. Why is it so remote and well hidden? Why is it not connected to the other structures? There's so many questions about this. It has got to be around here somewhere. I genuinely cannot see anything in this valley at all that looks man-made. I don't understand. I'm basically right on top of the marking I left on my map. There should be a massive structure right here. Oh, I think I found it. It was tucked away behind this rock. Really hidden. Oh my goodness, look at this. Look where this is. Oh my word. So isolated. Hidden behind this cliff. Wow, look at this. Finally we have reached it. I am wrecked. I am so busted. That was such a hard hike. It has been such a long and brutal hike today, but it is worth it because we have found the structure. Let's go get a closer look, see if we can find any clues as to what it was. You got doorways and you got windows as well. Let's head inside. It is very similar in structure and style to the other ruins we had just explored on the way here, but it looks older. The slate used to build it looks more eroded away, and there's even less remaining. There's no wood, no structural beams, so it makes me think perhaps this was an older mine. But there was a major problem with this theory. There isn't much evidence suggesting that any mining happened here. It's far from the mining site I explored earlier, with no trail connecting the two. The surrounding rock doesn't look mined, and there are no other structures nearby. It just sits here, alone, hidden beneath this cliff. Standing there, I couldn't shake the feeling that this place was meant to stay out of sight, as if someone wanted to keep it a secret. And that left me with one burning question. Why? And unfortunately in this video, I cannot answer that with 100% confidence. So let me know what you think in the comments below. I really hope you guys enjoyed coming along with me on this one. It was an epic and brutal hike today. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see more adventures like this, make sure to leave a like, comment below where you'd like me to go explore next. I'll see you in the next adventure. Thanks for watching, guys.